of this group.
It's all
We'll get
good.
started shortly.
How's everybody doing?
Good. It's nice to see your face.
I know. I miss you.
I know. I miss seeing you too. I see you're in your standard purple. Very Marwan.
Absolutely. No tie today. Very
Happy
relaxed.
day. I hope everyone is staying cool out there. It's quite warm this week.
Yes. Are you at Sylvan, Lisa?
Yes, I am. So for those of you who just entered, please follow the instructions on the slide. Welcome to the Housing and Homelessness Coalition. And I will give an update. The downtown Bremerton Library is closed, the branch that I manage, and so I'm borrowing an office and I'm a bit out of sorts. But I've got Priya and the team by my side. I've got a good group, so it's gonna be good. And this used to be one of my home bases, so it's nice to be back in at the Sylvan Way location. Okay, I'm gonna give it one more minute. Again, thanks for being here, and we'll get started in a brief moment. And I think I saw Matt Garrett's name pop up. Matt, are you here?
No, for some reason, when I clicked the link, I came in under his name. It was weird.
Oh, okay. Who are you?
I'm Allie. I am a navigator with HSC.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you, Allie, for being here, disguised as Matt Garrett.
It shows Allie for me. Does it show Matt for everybody?
I just saw when it popped up, like I can see who's entering in, and I thought I saw Matt's name.
I had to change my name, so.
Okay, everyone. Well, we're still probably going to be onboarding a few people, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. And so I'm going to stop sharing my slide, but welcome everyone to the Housing and Homelessness Coalition. My name is Lisa Lechuga. I am the chair of the coalition. We meet monthly, every third Wednesday, and we try to share information. We're a network of service providers that support housing and homelessness. This is a platform for the county to share information with all of you. We will get started. Thank you for being here. I'm going to share my screen again and get the agenda up and show you what's going on for today.
Get on the phone meeting. I can Zoom. Oh, wow.
Give me a moment to find my document. There we are. Okay, so on the agenda today, we are going to go through, of course, our mission, vision, and values. So for those of you who are new to the coalition, you can know what we're all about. Please know that the conduit, courtesy of our one Cameron, is recording this meeting so that if you're not always able to attend, you can participate asynchronously and catch up on anything discussed at the meeting. I will go ahead and introduce the exec team. We'll do minutes approval from next month, and we're already in the midst of doing our community builder. So the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition, our vision is that every person in our community has a safe, decent, stable, and appropriate home. Our mission is the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition provides leadership to end homelessness through planning, coordination among social service providers, advocacy, and education. And our values are that we strive to carry out our mission with respect, commitment, compassion, integrity, and a willingness to change. This meeting is planned with the help of a super team. So the executive committee of the Housing and Homelessness Coalition includes myself, Katie Sharp from Bremerton Housing Authority. She's the vice chair. Priya Cherry, who is our secretary. And then we get support and brain power from Bridget Glasspool at Kitsap Mental Health Services, Leif Wagner from Kitsap Mental Health, Carla Foster. We have a new transition, so I'll introduce that in a second. She's no longer with us. And another transition, Virginia McLaughlin was our representative. She may be here, but we have a new division manager at the county's Housing and Homelessness Division, Carl Borg, and so he will be on the executive team. And today, just so you know, we are changing the platform a little bit. We don't have a presenter. I'm hoping to capitalize on the brain power of this group. And we've got quite a bit of documents that as a coalition, we create an update for the community. Some of those, you know, like the free meal guide, we've got the resource guide or Sally's guide, as many of you know. There's also a resource guide for pet owners. There's lots of stuff to update, and what Priya and I have learned this past year is that like we're calling a lot of people and trying to get everything to be accurate, and maybe we can capitalize on this group to help us. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that activity, but I'm hoping to get assistance from the coalition to help us update the documents that many of us use to provide as information resources to the larger community. After that exercise and experiment, we'll have any updates from the county. I saw that Doug Washburn was here. I haven't yet seen Carl Borg, but I'm sure one of the members of the county can get us up to date on anything that's going on with the county. And then at the end of the meeting, we will have agency updates. And I've got quite a bit of my own, lots of updates to share with you. So I'm going to stop sharing again the agenda, and I'm going to pull up the minutes from last month. And I'm hoping to get someone to approve the minutes and then someone to second that. So let me pull them up. And these minutes are, again, courtesy of Priya, and who does an amazing job capturing all the conversations and discussions in the coalition. Can you see the notes? And I've got lots of stuff floating on my screen, so just let me know if you are able to see them, because I can't see faces.
Looks good.
Thank you, Priya. I will go ahead and scroll. Last month, we had a presentation from Kitsap Hopes of Compassion. We had some county updates and many agency updates. And it looks like we had quite a large meeting last month. So thank you all for your participation. For anyone, you are a member once you come to the meeting. It's not that strict of membership. So any of you can approve the minutes if you were at the last meeting. And then I need 2 of you to do this, please.
This is Morgan Duffy. I'll approve.
Thank you, Morgan.
This is
Molly Brooks, I'll approve.
Thank you, Molly. I appreciate that. And thank you, Priya, for taking the notes. Okay. And let's see. In terms of the executive team, we have a new representative that's going to be joining either this month or next month from KCR, and that will be John Nickerson. John, are you in today? He may not be. but he's going to be part of the executive team, and I thank him for agreeing to do that. KCR is a very important partner. They are the primary intake housing solution center for helping people to navigate what housing options are available. So I'm really glad to have them on the executive team, and Carla Foster, who was our representative from KCR in that capacity, has transitioned out. Next, we've got another update. This one, another executive team update. This regards Priya Terry. And Priya, I'm going to let you share that with the group now.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm here from the phone booth at the Silverdale Library. It's a tiny, tiny meeting room, and I can hear myself echo. So I've been serving as secretary for the group and learning a lot from and taking from you all. However, at the end of this month, I will be moving out of state and transitioning out of both this coalition and Kitsap Regional Library System. It's super bittersweet because I've enjoyed working with both deeply, and I've learned a wild amount about library services and community services and the ways that we can all support each other. But I just really appreciate being able to work with all of you individually and in this group as a whole. I will still be in library work. I'm going to be shifting over to a town library in Western Massachusetts as their head of adult services. So if you are all ever in the Western Mass area, feel free to reach out. I can pop my personal email in the chat, but overall, it's just been so cool working with you all and helping to support you and doing the really good work that you're doing. So if you have any questions, I'm around until the end of this week, and then we're packing and moving. So, but thank you all. I really, really, really appreciate you sharing your time and your brain power in this group. It's been so helpful to the library and myself and our community. Thanks.
Thank you, Priya. I am going to miss you deeply. And I'm going to put an emoji. Is that laughing or sad? I don't know. I feel happy for you and sad. So there's my emoji. But everyone, share an emoji of expression and well wishes to Priya. Like she's done a lot for the coalition. No one takes notes like this person does, but she does way more than that. And we are all going to miss her. I think she's engaged in multiple ways in especially the Bremerton community. So just cheer on that work, and we all wish you well in your next chapter. Okay. I haven't forgotten community builder. I'm just not totally following the agenda, so forgive me all. Our next September coalition meeting will be in person at the Salvation Army. This past month, we were able to connect with a small Project Connect planning team. And so we're starting to get things sorted. But again, like we're trying to capitalize the knowledge and brain power of this group. And so we can get ourselves a little bit organized. We can get people quickly signed up to volunteer for whatever it is that they want to volunteer for. And within that discussion, regarding preparing for Project Connect, we're hoping to solicit some donations. So we often do provide lots of materials. I think there's a coat drive, diapers, socks, hygiene kits. And so just keep an eye out for the newsletter that Katie Sharp sends out, typically at the first week of the month or before the next meeting, and we'll try and get you more prepared. There's still some details to be sorted out before I can share that with you. But we're going to try and be in person. I will not be at that meeting. I'm out of town, but I'm going to get the executive team sorted, and we have a really strong Project Connect team that I will introduce or prepare to introduce in the newsletter. But just thank you for helping that. Project Connect, for those of you who don't know, is a resource fair for a low-income and housing insecure residents. We do it every year. It supports the county's point-in-time count. And it's a great way to connect, showcase services, and help people navigate the services in our community that are available to them when they are in need. It's a big deal, and we're planning early. And so hopefully we will be ready in January. Okay. We're going to get to community builder. I really believe this is important. If you guys hate community builders, I'm sorry. It will be relatively quick, and they're usually fun questions. Okay, so Brenda Bright is in here for Jason this week. Thank you for being here, Brenda. Erica from Kitsap Homes of Compassion is here. Thank you. Jason with Kitsap Aged and Long-Term Care is here. Lori Flatray with Northwest Justice Project. And she did the community builder. She's glad she got installed an AC at home this summer. Yes, I am happy for you, Lori. I am living in a hot box and working in an ice box. It's a wild ride. James Crawford, the new superintendent of Bremerton School District. I am so glad that you are here. Thank you for jumping on board. Marley from PCAP. One thing that she enjoyed this summer was binge watching Blacklist. All right. That's a good way to stay cool. Angela, she wasn't hearing. She's had some technical difficulties. Thank you for sharing that. Michael Akey, I hope I'm pronouncing your last name right, taking his daughter to the park. Yeah, that's a wonderful activity. I'm curious about the park. You can let us know later. Sean Nye from Helpline House, fishing and camping, summer classics. Carl, the division manager of the housing and homelessness program at the county, swimming to cool off. Jessica Campbell with Housing Resources Bainbridge, hiking with her dog. Jason has had a few weekends at the ocean, and it's been a good summer. Emily Larson from Kitsap Rescue Mission, camping with the husband and the dog. Jenny Berthelsen from Coffee Oasis, enjoyed walking in the forest. Jill Stanton from Bremerton Housing Authority, playing lots of golf. Candace Corey from WDVA Housing Retention Program is here. Doug Washburn is here. Okay, Ben from Pallet Shelter was told he would be presenting, but didn't see it on the agenda. Do you know what time that will happen? Well, Ben, no one told me that that would be on the agenda either, but we'll try and accommodate you. So in the chat, I'm gonna just if you could put how long you think the presentation will take, and I'm gonna think about where to put you in. I'm glad that you're here, and we would be happy to learn. Tiffany Turnley from Agape, spending time at the pool with her kiddo. Virginia from Kitsap County Housing and Homelessness Division, enjoying the garden this year. Marwan Cameron, probably busy doing everything. Brian Olson from Bremerton Housing Authority is here. Leah Nolden from the county is here. Her favorite experience is seeing all her kiddos have pure joy, smiles when at the ocean. Hello, is someone trying to speak to me? Maybe not. Okay. Marwan Cameron, he's sharing the link to our live stream. Again, much gratitude to you, Marwan, for recording these so that more people can participate and be aware. Deanna Conger from the library, enjoyed Cars and Couture, a fashion show at the Lee May Automobile Museum in Tacoma. I haven't been to that museum. I've heard good things about it though. Let's see. We've got lots of cute emojis that are popping up now for you, I'm guessing. Maria from Kitsap Public Health, visiting Leavenworth with her husband. Always a beautiful place to visit. Joey Hayes going to the beach at Fort Worden. She's from Kitsap, Iraq. I don't know. Is that different from erase? Joey? Okay. I'll let that question go.
No, it was a typo.
Okay. So you're from Kitsap, Iraq. Thank you for being here. Angela Boyer from PCHS hanging out at Mountain View Middle School with her wonderful co-workers. Jeff Coughlin, City Council, Harborside Fountain Park with his toddler, Matt, who is adorbs, I just have to say. Chuck, with, he will be attending a little bit late. So Ben says he has to hop off at 3. No problem, Ben. We're gonna make it work. Molly from the Erase Coalition, and they have a housing and homelessness sector or group. Thank you for being here. She just got back from camping in Friday Harbor and hanging out with her nephew. All right, I think that's everyone. Thank you for participating in that. That helps us to get to know each other a little bit more in Zoom land. Okay, we're gonna try something and I'm gonna try and walk you through it. So I want you to raise your virtual hand and or raise your real hand. I always like seeing faces. Have you ever been in a meeting and you had to be, oh, wait, no, I can't go there yet. Ben, it's your turn. So Ben, from Pallet Homes, I'm gonna make room for you. We wanna learn about it. Are you ready now? Oh, I think he
Looks like he got bumped out. It's coming back in
yeah,
now.
he's coming on board again. Let me check with Ben. Hi, Ben. I see you there.
Hi.
Welcome aboard again. Are you ready now to present?
Yep, I can present right now if that works for everyone, but also totally understand if we need to reschedule. I know that there was a whole agenda and I don't want to throw that out the window for everyone.
I think we can make the space for that. Thanks everyone for rolling with this. Like we have been trying to learn a little bit about pallet homes more. Ben, do you have an estimate about how long your presentation will be?
I can really present for as long or short as anyone wants. I can, give you a brief 5-minute synopsis and we can schedule time, or I can talk at you for an hour and a half about everything.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad that you're up for anything. Let's shoot for 10 to 15 minutes and questions in between. So thank you for being here again. Welcome to the Kitsap Housing and Homelessness Coalition. You should be able to share a screen if you need to. If not, the audience is yours. Thanks again.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being so flexible here. I have a presentation, so I can show you all a couple pictures. I'm assuming everyone can see my screen here that I'm sharing. We're all good on that. Perfect. Thank you. Great. So my name is Ben Simons. I am the manager of community development here at Pallet. A little bit about the company. We're based in Everett, just north of Seattle, out here in Washington, pretty close to y'all, obviously. And we have been around for about 6.5 years now. Across that 6.5 years, we have built 120 individual, rapid, and dignified shelter communities, mostly for people experiencing homelessness, but also for some disaster response and also actually some workforce housing. Our success comes down to a lot of different factors, but the two that I want to touch on most right now are the fact that we're a public benefit company with 2 missions, one of which is to end unsheltered homelessness across the United States. But the second is to provide employment opportunities to people with lived experience in homelessness. And that employee base that we have, about 60% of our employees have that lived experience, has been instrumental in designing not only a product that is specifically designed to shelter folks rapidly and with dignity. So we have a product that's been very informed by that process and by that population, but also a model at the same time. When I say a model, I mean, we're not just a manufacturer that's shipping shelters out and saying, here you go. We actually have a set of dignity standards that we have created over the last 6 years in partnership with our employees and with the service providers that manage our sites, that says, hey, if you want to have success in sheltering people, here are the attributes that your shelter needs. Here's what you have to do. And when I say success in sheltering people, I mean, how do we get people to accept this shelter? The last thing we want to do is build a shelter that no one wants to accept, because that's going to be a waste of money and time. And the second of which is, how do we get people to actually stay for long enough to benefit from the services being offered? If we build a shelter and people only want to show up for the night when it's below 30 degrees outside, that's great. We've saved a life that night maybe, but we're not offering them a pathway towards housing. So our dignity standards are designed to really help our partners design a shelter program that will become a pathway to housing. I'm happy to send over the full version of those standards. Basically, they are set up to essentially mimic what it would look like if you had gone into housing. But we can build a full shelter community of, say, 50 sleeping units and the associated bathrooms, laundries, and community spaces in about a week and a half. From when the site is ready to go. So we can respond very quickly, but we want to provide people with that dignity of their private space in a healing community environment. How can we do this so quickly? The infrastructure requirements for shelter communities like this are very, very basic. Basically, if y'all have a parcel with relatively flat ground, concrete, asphalt, gravel, all works great. And access to utilities like electrical, water, and sewer. These structures can be built very, very quickly. We stockpile them in our manufacturing center here in Everett, so we can really get things shipped out very quickly and work directly with a local general contractor for that remaining site prep that needs to be done, like the foundations you can see, the electrical hookups, etc. So we work very quickly. We want to provide a dignified private space for people to be able to heal and stabilize and get into that permanent housing situation that everyone deserves so much. Unlike other shelters solutions, like, up until recently, congregate shelter was really the norm of the type of shelter that was offered across the country. We don't see the kind of impacts to neighborhoods that some congregate shelters have seen across the country. We have a lot of different impact reports that show the outcomes of our communities, ranging from things like drops in police calls, drops in officer-initiated visits, decreases in crime near our communities, increases in property value, and most importantly, really high rates of people transitioning from a shelter community into housing, either as that housing becomes available in the form of affordable housing built by a city or county, or through family reunification, or even joining together with people that they meet at these communities and actually moving into market rate housing. So we have a ton of content and impact reports that I'm happy to send over so you guys can delve into that more moving forward here. So that's a little bit about Pallet and the model that we are promoting across the country. Of course, at our core, we are a manufacturer. We build a product and we ship it and we assemble it. And our bread and butter, our base is our 64 square foot sleeping shelter. And essentially what this is, it is a rapid build structure made of all inorganic mold, mildew, rot resistant materials that can be built in about 45 minutes, but it has all the safety features that you would see in permanent housing or in a motel room or a hotel room. So you're going to have your wall-mounted fire extinguisher. You're going to have your smoke CO detector with a battery backup. You have your Class C fire rating on the walls. You have your emergency exit. So we're giving people that safety. We're giving people that dignity, but we're doing so on a really expedited timeline. Again, the main requirements for this structure, infrastructure-wise, are just relatively flat ground and then an electrical connection. We have a variety of insulation options and climate control options. meaning we can ship these anywhere across the country and make sure that people are comfortable and safe. So we have sites all the way from Burlington, Vermont, down to Los Angeles. Different levels of insulation, different heaters, different options there, but we're able to provide a safe structure for in any climate in the US, or we're actually even moving into Canada now. So this is typically single occupancy. You can see there are 2 bunks in here. That's really for life-saving measures or for disaster response, but typically you're gonna see 1 bunk in here, and these do fold up into the walls. If you wanna have the flexibility to put 2 people in there, they can be folded up. So that's our 64. We also manufacture a 100 square foot structure, which can sleep up to 4 people. We do have a couple family communities, more in like Central California, where the climate is really mild. And this is also very commonly used as a services office. So every pallet community is managed by a third-party service provider. It's not managed by pallet. We do have connections with dozens of service providers across the country, including a lot here in the Pacific Northwest. So we're happy to help out with those conversations and introducing you all to service providers that can successfully manage these sites. So this is oftentimes a space for that group to have office space to meet with residents privately, et cetera. And then, of course, every single community where people are living, we need to have safe, clean bathroom facilities. So we manufacture 2-stall bathroom structures like this one, and also accessible bathroom structures like this, where you're gonna have your walk-in shower, turning radius for a wheelchair, grab bars on the toilet, etc. So both bathroom options, all of which are pretty much ready to go. All you would need to do is really hook these up to water, sewer, and power, and they are shipped almost fully assembled. So really low work to get these set up. Most of that work is gonna be that water, sewer infrastructure that needs to go in. And then laundry, and finally, community spaces, which are open floor plan, designed for meal service, meeting rooms, TVs, fridges, microwaves. Really, this kind of becomes the hub of the community, is what we've seen across the country. We have all of these structures that you can see in many communities, but we actually have every single one of them up in our community with Everett Gospel Mission, just north of our facility here in Everett. We love having people come out to visit that facility and also our manufacturing facility. So if anyone is interested in scheduling that, would be more than happy to have folks come check it out. We have, probably a dozen sites across Washington as well that people are consistently visiting to see what these can look like and the kind of impact that they can have. Very recent impact report that I can send over is from our site in Longview, Washington, which is managed by Salvation Army. They've had really amazing success of being able to completely close the, I believe it was called, I'm trying to remember what the encampment in Longview was called now, can't remember. But we're able to close that encampment and get a ton of those folks into a dignified shelter and get a lot of them into housing treatment programs, and have seen amazing reductions in crime in the area. So really exciting outcomes from that site. Some slides here I'm going to skip through, kind of give you an idea of infrastructure wise what these can look like, and I'll push through to a couple pictures of existing communities. So we have about 1,300 shelters across the city of LA, on a wide variety of parcels, a lot of permanent infrastructure, so a lot of concrete pads. They don't expect these to be going away anytime soon, so they've kind of set them up to last. Whereas we also have sites, outside of old city halls, just on parking lots, like here in San Jose. They've done a lot of great work painting, doing murals to make this feel really homey, as it is a family community. We have a site in Boston, Massachusetts, also relatively permanent, outside of a state-run hospital, which is a really exciting partnership we have with a service provider called Commonwealth Care Alliance, where they actually have medical professionals on site 18 hours a day, have been able to really reduce medical costs and improve those outcomes really dramatically for folks living there. And then this is a great community down in Vancouver, Washington. They started out with 2 sites of 20 shelters each. They're about to build their 3rd, and actually we just got a contract to build the 4th and 5th site. So they're really expanding the partnership as they're seeing such great outcomes with getting people not only off the streets, but also then into housing, as is, of course, the ultimate goal here. So I'll stop talking here. That's kind of a really expedited overview. I see that there's some questions in the chat, so I can I can go through a couple of these to start off with, and then if there's more, we can continue. So wheelchair accessible, yes. So both the 64 square foot and the 100 square foot structure are easily modifiable to be wheelchair accessible. That would require a ramp to be installed into the unit, and it's about 1.5 inch threshold, so not a very long ramp. And with just one bunk down, there's the turning radius required for a wheelchair, and the outlets and the heaters are all at wheelchair height. And we do, as I mentioned, have those accessible bathrooms as well, to provide accessible facilities for restrooms. Who determines where these sites are located? That would be, depends on the community. Typically would be decided by the city or county. Usually our contracts are directly with cities or counties. They provide the land, and then they contract with a third-party service provider to manage it. At times we sell directly to a nonprofit or private organization, and they're building these on their own land. And there's usually a collaboration with the city or county around building code and zoning, but that would be up to them to place them. We're happy to help with that process. I'm local, I'm in Seattle. I can come out and we can do site walks. I can provide you sample site layouts. I can collaborate with a general contractor locally to get quotes for what infrastructure costs would look like for different parcels. So we're typically very involved in that process, but we don't choose. Chuck, I can definitely send over a link to the presentation, and I'll also send over something that kind of summarizes a lot more of what I'm saying, as opposed to just you having a bunch of pictures and trying to remember what we talked about. So I'll send that over to Lisa, and that can be disseminated across everyone if that works. Palletshelter.com, that's a great website. Cost is going to be pretty variable. The way that I like to think about it isn't by like unit cost of a shelter, because it doesn't really parcel out like that when you take into account shipping and assembly across an entire community. But to give you an idea of like the total cost for a site, if you wanted to buy 50 shelters, you wanted to house 50 people and buy the bathrooms you need and the laundry structures and the community structures you need, product wise, that's about $1 million to get all the buildings you need to house 50 people. The site cost for that is going to be variable. It's going to depend on the parcel that you choose, and it's going to depend on things like local cost of labor. We can send over a couple budget estimate sheets that are based on historical averages. And again, we're happy to work with a general contractor to quote out what the actual site cost would be. How long these last? The materials that we use, it's a fiberglass reinforced plastic. It's all inorganic. It's mold, mildew, rot resistant. Our oldest community is 6.5 years old. It's in Tacoma, Washington. At that time, we were using materials that are not even nearly as robust as what we're using today. The manufacturer of our wall panels today, based on testing they've done, mostly around UV exposure, which is the most likely thing to break these down, they say that they should last at least 20 years. That's going to depend mostly on the use case. And basically, how long these shelters last is the biggest variable. There isn't even who you're housing in them, it's your service provider. Is the service provider able to create an environment where people are feeling stable and safe and dignified? And if so, they will have it'll be much less likely that you'll see significant damage to these shelters. We very rarely have to replace entire wall panels. The most common things we have to replace are really small things like door handles and windows. We have a 2-year manufacturer's warranty. Anything that's not in that warranty is typically really easy to fix on site with the facilities person. Door handles are 2 screws, windows are about 16 rivets, so it's really easy to replace everything if necessary. I talk really fast, I'm sorry.
You did so good, Ben. I still appreciate your flexibility to go for 5 minutes or 2 hours, whatever. Thank you so much. It looks like there was a lot of energy and curiosity. So I don't know if you have my email, Ben, so I'm gonna put it in the chat so that you can email me your slide presentation and any other sort of resources or contact information. It looks like we had some specific requests for that. Any last questions from the group? Okay. All right, Ben, you are welcome to hang out till 3, or not. Thank you for being here and thank you for sharing this. I didn't expect it, but I know we've been trying to get to talk to you, so a real privilege, and I appreciate the information.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for making the time. I appreciate it.
Okay, take care.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay, and I see many requests for more information, so we'll include that in notes.
What I can do, Lisa, I'll butt in one more time. Sorry. I'm
Sure.
gonna put together this folder with a bunch of information right now, and I'll just put it in the chat, and then people will just have access to it.
Thank you. Wonderful. I appreciate that so much, Ben. Thanks again for being here. I forgot to mention, everyone, Priya's transitioning out, and I need a secretary. Like, I need one of you to be the secretary. It's not scary. It takes about an hour. I'm not picky about notes. We just want some sort of documentation. And we need your help. Like, it can't just be the same people doing the same things all the time. So if you are interested, please put that in chat or email me. That's an important role. And if you're secretary, you'll probably be chair. That's cool too. You've got a good team. So just know it's a group effort and we're a team trying to figure things out together. All right, on to our next task. You all are smart and you're knowledgeable. You're especially knowledgeable about your organization and your services, and I need your brains. And I'm going to unapologetically, or maybe a little bit apologetically, say that we're going to try breakout rooms. I don't like them. You pop into a room, you don't know who you're going to see. You have to pop out. You don't know when that's going to happen. Priya and I were talking a little bit to try and make that maybe not as jarring. But here's our task. Let me share my screen. I'm going to show you our resources. Okay. We have a free meal guide. It's awesome. It was recently updated in April. And then I got a couple of emails to the Housing and Homelessness Coalition email that 2 things were out of date. And a person trying to find food in our community had to drive around with limited funds and limited gas. And so I want you all to look at this document and help us to update it. I've got a Google Doc, because you can't edit this document. I have a Google Doc that we can add our notes. This is an experiment, roll with it. So that's one. We have Sally's guide, the Homeless and Low Income Resource Guide. This is an amazing document. Priya updated it. It's reformatted. It's easier to read. But as you can see, there's a lot of information. Information about your services. And so this is another thing that I want to review. We updated this, I believe, last January. And so again, we have representatives from many of the organizations on this guide, and it's much easier to capture notes and updates or corrections that we need to do as a group. I'm also considering trying to make a project team. Priya and I were talking about that. It might be easier to do that, but I wanted to also try to see how we might be able to capture the knowledge that you have. So there's this guide. These are all Housing and Homelessness Coalition documents that we produce as a coalition. This one is an amazing document also with our brand, and Priya, correct me if I think I'm on how you can help people living homeless. This is awesome. Yeah, thank you. This is an awesome document. And oftentimes, like as chair, I'm receiving emails from people or from community groups that just want to know how they can help. I refer them to this document, but it hasn't been updated since 2019. And the information may not be accurate. I'm a library person, so I want things to be up to date, even if some of the information may still be valid. And so this is the one that I want all of us to look at together today within like a short span of like 30 to 45 minutes. I'm going to walk you through how that looks like. But there's just so much information out there, and 2 people at the library can't possibly have it all. And so this is another one that we need to update. And then the last is this pet resource guide. So this is for people who are living in sheltered. It's also a bit older as well. But people have pets, and often they don't know where to go to obtain food or treatment, veterinary care. And so there's that guide that I want to try to start updating as well. So the process today, everyone in this coalition meeting today gets to join. I'm seeing like the participation drop. It was like 52, now it's 43. That's okay. It's an experiment. We're going to try it out. Thank you for those of you who are still here. What I would like to do is have you select one of 3 groups. So you can choose what you think you might be able to offer or update based on your interest and knowledge. But I'm going to have 3 breakout rooms. One is the free meal guide, one will be the resource guide, and one will be the resource guide for pet owners. Everyone will be also looking, no matter what group you choose, will also be looking at how you can help people living homeless guide as well. So each group will be looking at 2 guides. What I want you to do when you opt in to go to a Zoom room is just to say hello to your group, give yourselves about 5 minutes to just say who you are, show your faces if you can, say what organization you work with, and then take about 5 minutes to review both documents, particularly if you see information about your own organization that your eagle eyes could help us. In the chat, and then just kind of like start making notes. And the notes are going to be on this Google Doc, and I'm going to share a link with you right now in chat. Basically, I don't want to like over process this or facilitate it. Basically, you're looking at it. I will take any notes, but I'm looking for items to remove, items to add, and corrections. And that would be for each guide. So, and then within the Google Doc, like each guide is linked directly so that you can look at it. I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. No, I don't want to share. I want to stop sharing. Okay, so thanks again for those of you who are still here. I want your knowledge. I'm gonna start the breakout room, and this one I might need help with Priya. So I created the breakout rooms, Priya, but I can't see how people can select their own breakout room. And before we do that, is everyone okay with just giving it a try? This is low pressure. Just go into your room, look at these documents, and see what recommendations you can offer. That's all I'm asking. After this exercise, I think we can have the voice of God on Zoom. So you may hear me being, are you okay? Or maybe my head will pop in, I'll be, are you okay? And I think we can also have it so that you can come back to the group if you're done. So no, like, I'm not going to shut you down if you're in it, but you will have a cap of like, you know, we're already a little bit late. It's 2:51, so we'll say the cap will be 3:15 because I want to honor any county updates. And we could be briefer as well. If the process does not work for you, let me know that it doesn't work and we'll try something different. I might recruit some of you specifically for a project team, but this will get us started, and now everyone knows what we produce and what information we share with the community. Thanks for rolling with this experiment. Now we're going to get into Zoom rooms. You can choose your room, the free meal guide, the resource guide for pet owners, and then everyone is looking at the how you can help living homeless. And
Lisa,
let
can
me
you, oh, sorry, can you
share
put the
the
link in the
Google
chat?
Doc. Yeah, let me put that in right now.
And then for those of you who haven't used Zoom rooms before, on the bottom row of your controls, there should be an area that says breakout rooms. If you find that, and there are 3 available rooms aside from the one big room we're already in, which is called unassigned. If you scroll to the bottom, you should see a little button that says join. And that way you can pick your group. And if you can't, just wave and I'll assign you to something. Michael, is that a no?
Yeah, I don't even have the breakout room option.
I don't either.
I don't either.
Okay, hang on a sec. Whoops.
I don't see one either.
Oh no. Okay, it's an experiment, you guys.
I can just assign you.
I have Zoom rooms open too, Priya, so I'm gonna close mine. Maybe that's what's stopping it because I tried to prep in advance.
When you did that, a little thing went away at the top saying that somebody had to assign you.
Let's see.
So you didn't have anything at the bottom, but
I don't want to assign. I want you guys to select. Priya
Also,
and I found it last time.
also, will the resource list be available that we can look at? Or oh, I think it just went through, didn't it?
Yeah, so the resource list, if you go to that Google Doc that I just shared in the chat, it's going to have the links to each document. So once you're in there, you're taking notes, you can open up the link and you can open up the document. Oh man, I was hoping that I wouldn't have to randomly assign people, but
Lisa, I think I saw I just selected allow participants to choose room and allow participants to return to the main session at any time. Can one of you who is Zoom savvy take a peek and see, has Zoom rooms popped up yet?
Generally, you need to restart the meeting room for that to
Oh,
take
goodness gracious. Hang on. I'm going to click open. I'm going to see what happens. I'm so sorry if it goes wonky.
don't feel sorry. This is not
Good
easy
luck.
to do.
Michael, yes. Brenda, yes.
I can choose which one I want to go to.
I can choose too. It works.
Okay, all right.
If
Give
you're
it a
not able
go.
to choose,
hello.
It's always best when meetings are fun.
A new experience.
Hey, Jill.
Hey,
How you been?
good. How are you, Brandon?
I am great.
I recognize your voice anywhere before I even saw your name.
What's going on with you? Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think
How's
I'll
everything going with you?
this room.
What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, how's it going?
What's going good? I see a lot of familiar faces in there. That's good.
I think this is the biggest breakout room by far.
Yeah, I think everybody's choosing this room.
So
Are adding things to the list? I kind of got both things pulled up.
I was just gonna say, does anybody have that document squared away where they can get to
I
it?
do. I have it on one side of the screen, so I'm happy to type if people want to shout things out. There's because if I understood the instructions right, so And we're just kind of listing things that we want to get put into the read, or that we think are missing from these documents.
Yes, all of it.
Okay.
This is the general resource guide group, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, so I'll share as the primary editor for this current version. What we did was we took all the information that was on the older versions that Cheryl Piercy was updating, kind of winnowed it down to the essentials, and then either visited the website or called every single service provider to get their updated hours, services, locations. And that stuff goes out of date super quick. It's already out of date. We finished it in January. So just any of that information that you see that needs to be changed, that needs to be removed, or equivalents that you want to see added, all of it.
So I just opened up all of the things except for the pet one, because there was a specific pet group. I mean, I can't open that one up too, and I'm just kind of like looking at it and saying if I see anything that I know is wrong. The hard listings should be listed as first and third Mondays.
Exactly that type of updates. Thank you, Lori.
Ooh, it's making me. So wait, am I not actually able to edit this document? It says I have to ask the owner.
Let me bug Lisa about that. Keep adding your notes in the comments here, and then we can transfer them all over here.
For those viewing live, go ahead and type in the chat and I will relay that to the group. Thank you. It should be editable now if you just refresh the page.
There is.
So this particular group is working in silence and adding it to the document. I will try to open the document and share that with everyone online.
These notes look great. Thank you, guys. I'll pop back in a little bit. But I jumped in a little bit, I think in between some comments, but I see Emily's comment about not being on the guide because you need a referral. That's something that we were a little unsure of when making this guide because we want people to know that these organizations exist even if they can't, cold call and get a spot. So if you all have thoughts on that, or, ways of wording even, please make a note of that and we can definitely include it because we want to respect the referral process and save stress from your frontline staff having to explain that to people.
I don't know. Hello, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the main room. Thank you so much for participating in this experiment and trying to help us to update some resources. I hope everyone is here. Just a quick, like, you don't have to get into detail. I will look at the Google Doc later. You can always email the admin email if you have input or recommendations on process. I think what I'm going to do with the initial review that you all did is that I'm still going to look at creating a project team. So if you're interested in updating these documents, please do email me directly at my library email, which is in the chat, or you can email me at the admin email, which is on every agenda. But I wanted to get us started and also try and see how this might work to capture the knowledge of this group. Just to get a sense of where you're at regarding breakout rooms, not the whole meeting, just the breakout rooms. Can you give me like a thumbs up or a thumbs down? Was it a thumbs up for it was tolerable? A thumbs down, like, please don't ever do this again? I'm seeing a lot of tolerables and thumbs up. No outliers with the thumbs down that I can see yet. Okay, awesome. Thank you for trying this. Thank you for getting us started on updating. Janae, thank you for your comment. And we are going to try and update these together. We're pretty good on 2, but I'm a little bit worried about the pet resource guide and the how you can help. So I'm glad. Oh, Angela's got a like pointy one. I don't know what that means, Angela. Is that tolerable? Never do again? So? I will never know unless she says. Okay, we're going to move on. We still have agency updates and updates from the county's Division of Housing and Homelessness. Again, thank you for trying this out. So county team, I'm seeing Carl, Virginia. I saw Corey in her earlier. The floor is yours for any updates or information you want to share with the coalition.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. We're getting down to where we're going to be hiring a construction manager for the Pacific Building Mile Hill Shelter. So that's the first step in starting the construction project, and hopefully will be next fall when it's up and available for 75 rooms. There'll also be a veterinary clinic pet care area in there, so that'll alleviate some of the issues with your pet care problems. We're actually going through our by the grant process right now. We've received applications. We're going through those, and we'll do agency interviews the beginning of September. Other areas in the county will be doing them next week after that. So we'll all be doing that. And if anybody else wants to update, jump in.
From the county team?
Yeah.
Okay. Leah, Virginia?
No, I think the only other update that I would add to kind of expand on the coordinated grant application process is that the interview schedules for the KHHC funding. So I'm seeing a lot of folks in this room that will impact those. Interview schedules will be sent out in the next couple of days. So please keep an eye out on your email for those so that you have the information and you know when we're expecting you.
All right. Thank you. We're looking forward to the Pacific Shelter in Mile Hill. So next year, that's wonderful. I also wanted to ask, it's a hot week. I haven't noticed any cooling center calls from emergency management yet. Like, does anyone have any knowledge on that?
They did open cooling shelters for the first hot day, and they'll be open through, I believe, tomorrow when the cool down hits. Yeah.
Okay. Carl, are you able to share information about the cooling shelters? Is there like a link you could share in the chat, perhaps? or anyone from the coalition?
Yeah, I can send some information out. I received the public notice and forwarded out to all of our grantees. So the vast majority of service providers, and I'm sorry, I didn't send it to the library. That didn't occur to me.
Well, we should be cooling centers. Like most of our well, not all of our branches, but some of them are cooling shelters.
Absolutely. I did send that out to all of the direct service providers. The link that was on that notice was not correct, as it was pointed out to me later. I can go ahead and share. I found searching online the correct link, and it actually has a map at the bottom of it, which is pretty handy.
Okay.
I'm
sharing in chat. It looks like we've got lots of resources here. So Angela shared a Kitsap Sun article, Jeff shared a link, and Virginia has a link too. So I think we're good on finding locations. Thanks all for sharing that.
Yeah, they can also call 211, and 211 has the direct information, can tell them exactly the closest one to where they are.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Carl. I see a hand raised. Morgan.
So this is kind of related, unrelated as well. And I'm not sure if somebody from the health department is here. If they are, they could probably speak on it better than I can. But I did get an email from someone at the public health department about air cleaners for wildfire issues. So they're looking to give out air cleaners to organizations that do have people that frequent the locations, people that are unhoused, people that are low income, people that are pregnant, these high risk groups. And so I can put the information in the chat, or people can reach out to the contact that I was contacted by. But I think it would be beneficial probably for the library to maybe get these in their locations. They also give out flyers related to wildfire smoke and how to stay safe. And also they have masks available that they can send to different locations. So I'll put the information from the contact in the chat.
Thanks, Morgan. I think we have a few from Kitsap Public Health. The library, we get masks and we have those flyers too, but it's good to share with the group. So thank you for speaking up on that. We're going to shift over to agency updates. Thank you, county team, for your work and support and just keeping us informed. Okay, I'm going to start with updates from the library and just a couple of shout outs, and then I'm going to open it up to the group. If you don't know, the downtown Bremerton location of the Kitsap Regional Library is closed temporarily to install an HVAC system so that we can be a cooling center. This has an impact on our downtown community in Bremerton and those people that are living unsheltered in that community as well. But it's for a larger purpose, so know that you can use any other Kitsap Regional Library right now, and most of them are cooling shelters. Also, if you have an announcement, go ahead and start putting that in chat so I can call you after I share this information. Next, I hope we still have members from Kitsap Erase on the line. I just want to give a shout out to them. They have a housing subgroup, and they've been doing some good advocacy on behalf of people living unsheltered. I happened to be at one of the July City Council meetings, and I just appreciated them speaking up and advocating for people in our Bremerton encampments. And the last shout out that I want to do, and which I'm going to hopefully share with Priya to share in the last notes that she will do. But Kitsap Sun, our local newspaper, is just doing an amazing job kind of covering the story of housing and homelessness in our county. Lots of news articles that I think are beneficial to the group. And so I'm going to share them with all of you. But since our last meeting, there's been 10 articles, or almost 10 articles. So we have the effects of the encampment. They did an amazing story on the county's heart team with Jared Moran and the work that he's doing to compassionately help people move out of encampments and obtain resources and housing. Information on drugs, information on Monk 2 Pie and just getting out there and serving barbecue at the MLK Way encampment. Try as they might, I can't get Monk. I want him to come. So if you guys have like an inside relationship with him, please do let him know. But lots of great articles. And so I will try and share this out. I also want to share I'm going to share my screen one more time because I want to show you how to obtain articles, because I subscribe to the Kitsap Sun and I have my own account, but you can get them for free from the Kitsap Regional Library as well. And so like if you have any issues with our links, if you go to browse and then news under research and learn, you're going to see a link for Kitsap Sun. And so you can actually access specific articles. I will try and link them always in the notes. I'm going to try this out as well because they certainly do. These articles help me to understand a little bit more about what's going on in our community outside of these meetings. Also a shout out for City Council because they are the most informative and entertaining meeting. Tops the coalition meeting, Jeff. I love our city council meetings, and this topic is always like an issue that is discussed by community members. Those are my updates and shout outs. And now I'm going to open it. Yes, Brenda, you do need to have a library account to access from home these articles, but if you go into any branch, you are able to access it without an account. Okay, so now it's time for broader updates. Does anyone have an update to share? You can put your name in chat or you can raise your hand. All right, nothing? Okay, oh, I saw one. There's Sandra. Okay, Sandra.
Hi, this is Sandra from the Bremerton CSO DSHS. I'm just sitting in for Chris. We're just so backed up, so he's seeing clients. I don't know if he gave you all an update with our new intake hours for people coming in applying for services. The cutoff is now 2 o'clock. So it's 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. still. Or it's cut to 2 p.m. So that is a change for us.
Can you 8 a.m. for 2 p.m. for which service and which organization? Sorry,
sure.
Sandra.
With DSHS at the Bremerton CSO, and that also goes with our contact center. I believe the contact center is also 2 o'clock as right now as well. So we're just so behind when clients come in that we had to shorten our cutoff time to 2. So I'm not sure if Chris shared that with y'all, but I thought it is a new change. So
okay, Sandra, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. DC
DSHS.
DSHS.
Question about that.
Sure.
So I have worked with a couple of my clients to help them call DSHS. A couple of times they've done the whole press this number and we'll get a call back. And when they call her back, it says press 1 and we'll connect you. And then when they pressed 1, then it would disconnect their call, or it kept having them press 1, press 1, press 1.
Is that recently, Marley? Sorry.
Ooh, it was probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. 3 or 4 weeks ago.
I'm not part of the contact center, but I do get, we do get updates if there's things going on. I do know that there are long wait times, but I don't know anything about the callback system, that it's not working. So I will put a note to that just to see if there's anything, that that they're aware of, or
Thank you.
but yes, I will look into that.
Thank you.
Sandra, there's also a question from Leif in the chat. He's asking if this is a temporary time change for DSHS.
I would love it to be, but as of right now, we don't see it changing. We're just so backlogged in batch. About 6 months ago, we had about 135,000 pieces of batch. So what that means is when people turn in paperwork, when they turn in applications, when they turn in changes, we're not working them because we're so far behind. So with the cutoff at 2 o'clock, we are now down to about under 10,000 pieces of batch. So we were looking at 6 months of, 4 to 6 months of paperwork that's been sitting there. And then that just bogs up our lobbies and our phone lines because people have turned in their things like we asked them to, and we just don't have the staff to work them. So as of right now, it's a pilot program. So we're, as long as once we get caught up on batch and we can kind of, we're at about 70% new staff. So all of our seasoned staff have either promoted or moved on. So yes, I'm at 14 in training right now. And our training is like, it's not like 2 months, it's like 12 months.
Yeah.
So to get them fully trained to be able to do those food intakes and TANF interviews and whatnot, it takes months before we have people that are, on their own on the floor. So as of right now, it's 2 o'clock. As soon as it changes, I'll have Chris give you all an update when it goes back to 3.
Thanks, Sandra. And then Marley had a follow-up, and she's asking, does this extend the amount of time it will take to establish services for clients?
Establish as in apply for them, or because
So like if I were, let's say I were to apply for food stamps again today, would it take longer for me to get that first initial food stamp because it's such a backlog?
Food stamps, our basic food is the day that they apply, is we backdate it to that day. So they have 30 days to, if they do an online application or drop off a paper application or mail something in, fax it in. Once we receive that, of course, during business, Monday through Friday, we date stamp it the day that we receive it. So if I always tell people, like, if it's a Friday afternoon and it's after 2, hey, fill this application out or go online before 5 p.m. because we'll backdate it. So they're all backdated. Food is backdated from the date of application. TANF and ABD cash, of course, it's not because we have to determine the eligibility. So the TANF and ABD cash is based on the date that we find them fully eligible. So, but food, we backdate it to the date of application.
So you backdate it to the date of application, but when you actually get those funds, is that longer or is it?
No, as long as they do the intake and we get them approved, it could be as early as, depending if they're expedited or not. If they're expedited, it could be that same day. But if not, it'd be first thing the next morning.
Okay.
That the food would be on the card.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, there's been a lot of skimming going on. So we've had an abundant, a lot of people coming in today, their card has been skimmed. If you're hearing that out in the community, they can call our contact center and report it. And we can, we're looking at, we're sending all those in to have them looked at to possibly be replaced. Unfortunately, we can't just replace it here today. We still have to send it in and follow the process.
Sandra, can you define skimming in this context?
So what's happening, it's pretty new to me as well, that when they're swiping their card, it's being read by thieves out there, and they're being able to use those cards at other places. So we haven't seen a ton of it in our area, but I'm hearing recently that that it's been happening more and more. It's so new to us that our headquarters just put out a training for our staff which the training got released yesterday, so I haven't had the opportunity to do the training yet. But if a client says, oh, I have 0 on my card now, I had 300 yesterday, we can look into it and see the transaction history. And some of them are like, I saw 3 today that were done in Renton. Well, they're here in Bremerton or Kitsap County and haven't left the county. And, we ask them some follow-up questions, and you can truly see that they've not been anywhere else but here. So yes, let's see. Is there a way for people to protect themselves from changing PIN numbers? If they feel like they've been scammed, they can always come in and we'll get them a new card. We can issue cards up to about 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon, just depends on the day. But we can extend our hours for them to pick up a card, or they can call the backside of the EBT card to have a card replaced. They can also change their PIN number, but I don't know if the PIN number changing is even doing much to it. We would prefer just to get them a brand new card.
Okay, thank you,
I don't know if there's
Sandra.
any more questions. I just saw that one pop up.
Are there like specific locations where skimming is happening? Or is it just kind of random?
It's kind of random as of right now. So it's random, yes. Any other questions?
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you.
Appreciate your work, and
I'll have Chris
DSHS.
give you all updates if there's anything new up on that next month.
Okay.
I don't have to
Thanks
put
for
my hand
joining
down.
us. Thanks for joining
lower
us today, Sandra. It's nice to see a new face. Okay. Jenny from Coffee O, you're up.
Hi. So next week on Wednesday, we are having our annual back to school bash for ages 13 to 25. They will be able to get school supplies from each of our centers. We have a center in Paulsbo, Bremerton, Port Orchard, and Kingston. Like I said, it's for ages 13 to 25. I just want to let everyone know about that. If they want, they can get shoes as well, but they need to fill out the form by Friday. I know this is kind of short minute, but they could get that form filled out at each of their centers as well. It just has to be done by Friday in order to get the shoes in time for the back to school bash. That's it. Thank you.
Jenny, do you have a link to a flyer or?
I can try to see. I can let me see if I can get something to at least each of the centers, the Facebook event.
Okay.
I can do that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Lisa, can you send that to me so I can put it up on the website too?
Yeah. There's so many community events, everybody. Like the library can't keep up, but Maria shared, like, there's Islander Fest at Pendergrass Park this Saturday. There's Doc Love the Kids. Manette Fest is coming up, like Blackberry Fest. Like, there's just so many different things going on, a lot of community fairs where everyone's back in full force after the initial years of the pandemic. So we'll try and I'll share everything that I've encountered too, Leif, with you. All right. Thank you, Jenny. Okay. Brenda for Jason, you have the floor.
Just a reminder that next week is the Kitsap County Fair. Kitsap Aging and Long-Term Care's Information and Assistance Team will be manning the senior lounge in the pavilion. Again, this year for our seniors, for a place for them to rest their feet and have some resources available for them. And our team members will be there if they have any questions about other things that we have available for them. So we're looking forward to that. So it's fun.
Thank you, Brenda. Any other updates for the good of the coalition or the community? Okay. Much appreciation to all of you for trying out the breakout rooms, for trying to help get us started on updates with our resources that are printed for the community. Next week again, or next month, excuse me, we're going to try and meet in person at the Salvation Army. The focus will be on Project Connect. And also just, it's a good time of year, hopefully, to just get like some real FaceTime, not Zoom FaceTime, with one another, because there's lots of great things that we do. And please do check out the news articles that will be in the notes because they're very informative. Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. Priya, we're gonna miss you so much. And we'll end with that. Have a wonderful day. Thanks.
Gather Together, Grow Together. We provide transportation, affordable transportation